What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Morning Brew podcast. I'm your host, Kayla, and I'm interviewing creatives every other week to bring you the human experience behind their art. Today, you're in for a treat because I am joined by one of my good friends, Matt Pinkney, whose collection of short stories just recently came out. I haven't gotten to hang out with Matt like this since high school, so this was a really fun time and a little bit of a descent into madness. But before we get into that, make sure that you're following the Morning Brew podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, and YouTube so that you don't miss any updates or any episodes coming your way in the future. I hope you enjoyed this episode and feel like you're hanging out with Matt and I in high school. Matt, I'm so excited because I haven't had like a friend on the show in so long. It's been a hot minute. But listen, okay, so for the listeners, what's your name and where are you from?
Yes. So my name is Matthew Pinkney. I'm originally from Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area, but I'm coming to you from sunny SoCal, way too sunny right now.
And apart from our love of film and great taste in men, we also went to high school together and partook in
Yes.
theater together. Um, so that's how I know Matt, and I love him. And we're here to talk about your book, right?
Yes, yes, we are.
Yes. Okay. So I took notes. I read this yesterday. So
Oh.
tell me about American Romantic.
Yes. So American Romantic is a short story collection. It's a series of shorts that some are brand new that I wrote specifically for the collection. Some are ones that I had previously published throughout my college years. They all focus in very different aspects on growing up queer, falling in love, making mistakes, and just kind of an overview of different spectrums of, queer life and gay life.
And are these all personal stories? Like these are all real things that have happened to you?
They're definitely not all real. Um, However, if you want to piece between the lines, there's elements of truth.
Sure,
in-
sure.
Yeah,
That definitely makes sense.
yeah. It's not autobiography, but there are poets where I'm like, oh, that's a little too true.
Yeah, no, some of it I feel like you have to draw from like real life experiences and just put a little twist on it because if you put too much, people will be like, "Is this about this person?"
Absolutely. There's always the old adage of like, "Write what you know." But I don't think you have to be limited in, like, your own actual experiences. I always view that as more, okay, whatever you are writing about, like, take from your experience to, build it out. So while I haven't had, necessarily the exact experiences that are being related there, I mean, there's a part of me in everything I write.
No, for sure. And tell me about why you chose American Romantic as the title.
So it came from a few different places. I'm always a little bit highfalutin with myself, especially when it comes to titles. So there's the obvious, these are all kind of centered around relationships, so romances, something in there, even though these aren't, strict romances. I was playing off, the concept of, American Gothic, that, very famous painting. A lot of these had a strong Americana vibes. But then I was pairing that with not romantic in terms of love stories. Of course, they obviously are there, but more in the sense of like romanticism being a thing. So really elevating nature and emotion over kind of more the rational, elements. That's sort of the real simple 2-second explanation of what romanticism is. And that's always been kind of an art movement I've loved and has really stuck with me, in terms of writing. This is when you get like in the 1800s when we get like Lord Byron and Mary Shelley and like all these that are really just like some of my favorite works in like the classical sense. So that those were kind of some areas I wanted to play with. Yeah.
So I was reading this last night, and I can definitely feel the romance in the little things that you were writing about. Would you prefer giving like a little summary of each of the stories?
Sure. Yes. So the collection is bookended by kind of two pieces that are more kind of extemporaneous thoughts. The first one is a bit of kind of a like prologue mission statement. The last one, a little bit of a reflecting again, kind of on the why of there. And then the four actual stories themselves were kind of the main bulk of it when I was anticipating it. The first one is two young people about to go to college, leaving their small town behind. They're reflecting on their relationship and like how far they've come. The second one is two college age friends, one gay, one straight, navigating a bit of their relationship while one is helping the other with a makeover, which is very cute. That is one of my personal faves. The third one is a set winter time. They kind of do have a seasonal element as well. The third one is kind of a winter time. Oh, everything's getting a little rough. It's what so many of us have dealt with when you love someone and they kind of don't love you back in the way you want. And then the last one is kind of a combination overview of all of it. The focus on that one is springtime because again, there was the sort of seasonal element. Springtime to me, there are so many different meanings, but the thought of rebirth really came to mind for me. I was also at the same time working on a different piece, a short film that was also kind of like, okay, two exes. That was on the similar thing of like two exes coming back together and like trying to deal with that relationship. But whereas the short was definitely more negative, pessimistic view of it, this is a little bit more of an optimistic view on, maybe it can work out a little bit once you get that space from that person.
Yeah. So I took notes on the first one for sure before I collect my words. And you're very reflective in these pieces, and you talk about not being able to remember the first time that you, like, fall in love, and I was thinking about it myself, and I'm like, that's a fair point, because, it doesn't really stand out all the time, and there's so many different ways to love somebody. So I was curious for you, how do you personally define love?
Ooh, that is a great question. Because that's a question that had a very different answer to it maybe only a couple of years ago. I think I really struggled for a long time with I think we so often define love as like plus. It's like, it's the old school year thing. Do you like him or do you like him?
Yeah.
And so I think I really struggled with, when you love someone, and I, mean that in a very broad sense, obviously romantic, but like when it's your friends, when it's your siblings, your parents, you know, when there's conflict, like, hold on, what does that mean? Like, if like is a prerequisite for love, well, I don't like you right now. What does that mean? Or like, it doesn't seem like you like me right now. And so now I see love as more of a like conscious choice. There is obviously that romantic element to it in a lot of areas that, that just feeling when you're like, this is my person. But ultimately, love to me is a choice that you continue to make to say, hey, you person, you're on my team. Like, I want you on my team. I care about you. Maybe we argue, maybe we fight. That doesn't change the situation. I actually came to this a bit during COVID, when I was, had to move back in with my family. And that sort of started the thinking because it just went from like, oh, there are definitely times that like I don't like my parents right
That's
now.
rude. I
And
had the
there
same
are
thing
times I'm
happen.
pretty sure they would admit it's like, yeah, I don't really like you all that much right now.
Yep.
I don't want to be with you. But if in that moment one of us had been like, hey, I really need you, I never have a doubt that like they would immediately jump on that.
Okay, so here's another question.
Mhm.
Do you believe in the concept of love at first sight? Because I have my own thoughts of, I know of attraction at first sight, but for me personally, I feel like to say I love you is a big thing. And I feel like I need to know you before I can commit to saying I love all of you. You know what I mean?
I totally feel that. I go back and forth on that too, because I think so much of what we tend to consider love is more, the attraction, is the kind of the excitement of like a new person and, all that. But I have definitely had experiences where, I'm meeting someone for the first time and we start talking and all of a sudden it feels like we've known each other for,
Mhm.
10 years at this point. And it's like it has been 10 minutes and we're already talking like we're best friends. So I I do think that there is, and maybe this is a little more romantic in me, that like there is, when it works, you kind of know a little bit. But also, like I said, I think that is something you have to choose as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So another topic that you mentioned in that piece, which I thought was really interesting, is you mentioned the concept of not knowing where we are in our own story in terms of like the prologue, the climax, the
Mhm.
finale, because, we never know like when we're going to die or how long our life is, how much time do we have left to wrap up the story. Does that concept scare you or does that inspire you?
Oof. Oh, that is good. Because I think the answer is both.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's both liberating and terrifying. We don't have sort of narrative arcs to our lives. We try to put them on there, but they just don't happen. And so, on the one hand, it is like thrilling to be like, we can make our own destiny just because you're in a dark place right now doesn't mean the next day can't be amazing. But the reverse is also true. And it's like,
Mhm.
there's ups and downs, and it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of this post I saw somewhere that because I always panic about like we're getting so close to turning 30, bro, and I like panic about that a lot. But at the same time, I feel like there's so much potential. And it reminds me of this post that was like, at 27, 28, 29, like we're not even in season one of How I Met Your Mother. And that to me is like perspective. I'm like, okay, there's
True.
still so much life to be lived. Like the best could be yet to come. Or I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. So I was just going, back and forth in my head when I was reading this and thinking about it. And I was like, man, I'm terrified and also excited.
It is. And I'm a person who struggles a lot with sort of future thinking and future planning.
Same.
Like, usually when you say this, it's a sign of like some deep psychological things, but like, I never thought I'd get here. If you had asked 17-year-old Matt, "Hey, what do you think you'll be doing in 10 years?" I would have had literally 0 concept of myself in my 20s, let alone almost in my 30s. And so it's like, I don't know, we're just kind of figuring it out. I think that's the quarter life crisis, and I think that's,
Yep.
the what you get, you deal with this, and then by the time you hit your 30s, you realize, "Oh, none of us have it figured out." Like, that's what we're all doing. So,
Definitely. Absolutely.
every person you meet is just trying their best.
Yeah. So another piece that you mentioned was the life-size Ken doll one, which I believe is the makeover story.
Yes.
And the only thing that I wrote down is, uh, platonic sexiness, question mark. Be because because you mentioned these, like, little moments of, like, giving someone a makeover and, like or taking them out to dinner and, like, being like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, we're actually a gay couple," and, just running with this lie and, like, falling asleep next to each other, but it's platonic and they're drunk or something like that, and so there's all these tiny little moments that feel incredibly romantic even though the intention isn't always romance, and so I just
Mhm.
wanted to ask you about that.
This is a, big problem. I'm gonna hold all the gay men. Just I'm gonna hold them up in my hands and be like, "Hey, just because he's nice doesn't mean he's into you."
That's so me.
This is a real thing. It's a thing I've struggled with, and it's a real issue where so much of masculinity is coded as, like, competition. It's this, trying to be the best, the strongest, the alpha kind of thing. There's so much of that that can show up in, these really hyper masculine spaces. And as queer people, you often don't feel like that's a space for you. That's something that you can have. So it's this, it's like, any water in the desert, baby. It's like you'll take any scrap of affection and run with it. And I've absolutely done that with people where it's like, do you actually like me? Are you? Or even, more where it's like, well, I know it'll never happen.
Mhm.
So it's something that I can like work with, I can enjoy it, but at the same time, that then does become a little bit of a weight on yourself.
Yeah,
And I
there I
and I
mean
wanted to also show that like there can be these, moments of sweetness and maybe even romance that people can be open to even if it isn't gonna lead there.
yeah, I almost prefer it. Like, I
Mhm,
almost prefer smaller, like, more intimate, but not necessarily sexual moments as opposed to,
mhm,
like, a big, like, grand gesture in public and, stuff like that, and I think about all these teen movies that gave me all these expectations when I was, like, 14, and then I never got the chance to, like, sneak out of the house and go see a boy and sit on the grass at night and drink age-appropriate beverages, like, that was never something I got to do, and so, even at 27, when I'm like, "Well, I can buy the beverages, and I don't have to sneak out because this is my apartment." But, like,
exactly.
it's the thrill and the romance of, like, I don't know. I can't even, like, describe it, but you capture it so well in your writing.
Thank you. I mean, life is made up of the little moments, and especially, like, a relationship is made up of the little moments. If you in, kind of the most normative way, if you, like, meet somebody, get married, and, like, have kids, like, a lot of your relationship is gonna be really boring. You need to find people that you wanna be around when you're like, "Hey, we need to go get milk," or Hey, I mean, really? Or like you're watching TV and like half scrolling your phone. You need to be able to like tolerate that person.
Yeah. Okay, so I wrote down here. Mm, okay, and this is only if we want to get personal, so we don't have to answer this. But what is a like romantic little thing that you have always like wanted to do but haven't yet gotten to do? Cuz I have like okay, so I have a list, right? Not even like a list cuz that sounds
Yeah.
creepy, but like do you do the thing I'm exposing myself here. Do
That's
you
what
do
we're
the
doing,
thing
baby.
do the thing where when you're going to sleep and you like get in your bed and you're all cozy and then you go to the mental cuck chair and just play out a fantasy in your head for like until you fall asleep, or is that just me?
Not calling it the mental cuck chair is crazy.
I don't know what to call it.
You're not wrong. Um, see, the only difference between the two of us is I write those down and sell them.
Okay, I write fan fiction and don't sell it.
Exactly. I mean, I do that too, but
Oh my gosh. Okay, so good to know we're
uh,
on the same page.
exactly. This is the problem when you have like your actual friends here. Is like we are now unhinged because it's like
I'll just say shit, like, that's just gonna happen.
I've. It's like oh no, we forgot we're recording this a little bit.
I'm like, "Oops," and now I'm blushing because 'cause I'm thinking of putting my head on a nice man's chest.
So good.
I I'm like, I bet a lot of ours are like there's like 2 sides
Like
of the same coin.
fuck. Yeah. No, I definitely have that. Just like okay, what's the little story? It's really funny because it's like I have like 4 or 5 different ones, and it's kind of just like, "Can go to bed. What am I in the mood for? No, no, no." Like,
Yep.
mentally scrolling through Netflix.
Yes, but
Like,
instead
not you.
it's us in the movie and we're like, "Yes, this is how this plays out."
It's which person am I gonna pretend that I'm,
Yep.
like, telling with? It's like exactly. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, nothing really comes to mind as something where it's like, "Oh, that. Absolutely that." Um, again, it's a lot of the little things that I've been lucky to have the chance to do. Just like, getting drinks with someone, falling asleep with them. That is an underrated thing, by the way. Like, it's a difficult phrasing because there are so many times I wanna be like, "Do you wanna sleep together?" And by that, I mean, literally, do you want to fall asleep?
Like, let's just literally take a nap, but, like, next to each other.
Yes. Let's cuddle and take a nap. It's great.
It's always the littler things, like, if I
Mhm,
think about things that show that somebody loves me in
mhm,
terms of, like, exes or anything like that, it's like them knowing that there's a throw up scene in a movie, knowing that that freaks me out, and either skipping over it without me having to ask, or, like,
mhm,
muting it and, like, covering my eyes or something, or if we drive past God forbid, a dead cat or something, and they're like, "Look at me," and I'm like, "I why?" And I look at them instead as we go past, and they're like, "Okay, you can look now." So I don't even have to be aware that there's a dead cat because that makes me sad. But,
yeah.
it's little things like that, and I think that's more special than if someone was, like, arranging a flash mob for me in the middle of, like, Whole Foods or something.
Yeah, it's all the tiny moments that you don't even think about, but show that it's like, "Oh, that made an impact on you." Like,
Is it just people listening? Is that the bar?
is that the bar? It's, we all wanna submit to the mortifying ordeal of being known.
I'm like, "Oh my god, wait, I think the bar is in hell."
It kind of is, honestly. Honestly, dating is a struggle.
I
don't actively do it because it just makes me upset, but
Yeah.
keep seeing online people are talking about like, "Oh, a competency kink," and I'm like, Is being competent a kink now? Because I think that's just a standard."
Is it is it sexy to, like, have a job? And it's like, I don't know, it should be the bare minimum. Like, the bar is maybe below hell at this point.
It's, like, way, way under it's, like, almost coming out the other side. Because
Exactly.
yeah, like, being able to, like, have a job, listen, be nice to me. Like, these are
Yes! My
basic
god.
things.
Is it a struggle trying to organize the first date?
That's right?
If it is, maybe some problems here.
I have the dumbest, like, beige flags because at this point, I have no time for other people's, like, games or their, like, shit that I'm like, "If it's not gonna work, I'm just not gonna waste my time or your time," and so there's so many dumbass little things that I'm like, "Oh, no, we can't this can't happen."
Yes. And I never wanna like, I always feel bad when I'm, like, calling out women for this, but I am just like, "Look, there's a much smaller pool of dudes who are gonna be into this than there are dudes who are gonna be into you." So it is just when I see, like, women in just, like, terrible relationships, like, online or, thankfully in my real life, every girl I know is in a pretty good relationship. Um, what I see when it's like, "Should I?" And I'm like, "Girl, there are, like, 5 other guys out
Dump
there
him.
on your block, like, advocate for yourself, honey."
No, I feel the same way. Every time I, like, hear about other people's relationship problems, I'm like, "You know what? There's a reason that I'm single and I prefer it that way."
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so before I get too unhinged here and expose myself for the general public,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you for tips on starting writing because I have so many ideas of things, and my mom is, like, on my ass. She's like, "You need to just, like, write your book," and I'm like, "But I can't not because I know the first draft is gonna be bad," and the OCD in me is like, I can't knowing that it's gonna be bad at first. So, I was wondering if you could give me any advice.
Yeah, that's a pretty common one, the problem that a lot of people have. And I hate to side with your mom on this one. She's lovely. Um, but you do kind of have to get something onto the page,
Mhm.
at least for me. This has, also been a thing through therapy, helping me with, anxiety and depression and all that stuff, is when it lives in your head, it's everything, but it's kind of like a gas or a liquid, it's like, you can't grab it. You can't grab onto it. Putting it down onto the page, it's never gonna be exactly how it is in your head, and I think that's where so
Mhm.
many beginning writers especially get stuck, but once it's on the page, you can actually look at it for what it is. It stops being everything. And again, this is also where that helps me with the mental health is it's like, okay, if I actually write the thing down that's freaking me out, then I can look at the thought process and be like,
That's fair.
oh, this isn't actually all that much.
Yeah.
But in terms of writing, it's like, okay, then I can look at the idea and be like, well, how close is this to what I actually want it to be? And there are a lot of times, you go through the edit and it's not, what you want it to be, and your edits are really intense and like more of a full rewrite. I with this project, I like, okay, we'll do like a little final edit pass was what I thought I was gonna do like a few weeks back. And then I was like, oh no, I'm just fully rewriting large sections of these. Oh no. But that is just the process. And it sucks. It's hard. And I love it. It is
Mm.
magical when it works, and that's the high you keep kinda chasing when it
Okay,
doesn't.
okay, that definitely makes sense. I guess I gotta actually do it. Sit down and
I know, it sucks.
I'm like, "Man, someone has to take what's in my head and actually write it down for me." Crazy.
Sometimes. I mean, look, I have made a lot of good use out of voice notes, text to speech, because sometimes it is the physical act of, like, typing gets in the way for me. I do a lot of my work physical as well, so I highly recommend that. So just anyone out there, get a, like, notebook and, a pencil. Wait until it's, like, August, if you're, American or Northern Hemisphere. Wait until it's, like, August, go to Office Max, get, like this is not a joke, get those college notebooks that you used in
Mhm.
school. You can get, you can get them for, like, 50 cents each and, a pack of pencils and just, go to town on it. Because I know I'm not the only one who has said this, but, artists, writers are like, we always get, nice notebooks and nice sketchbooks for things, and you always kind of have the feeling of, like, I have to do something big with this.
I that's my all my sketchbooks, it's like 1 page and then it's blank because 'cause I'm like, "I fucked it up already, I need to buy a new one."
Yes, exactly. So, and I've had that too. So I'm very like, no, go get the cheapest, notebooks you can find that you don't care about because you're used to taking math notes in them. And it's like, and then just go to town, you know?
That would be the one that's like, "The Holy Grail, the
Yeah,
sacred texts."
exactly, exactly. It's the one where you're like, who cares? If I screw this up, I can get another one at the dollar store.
No, that makes a lot of sense because 'cause I'm like, I'm a hoe for stationery. I love me some stationery, so if it's, like, too nice, I do the exact same thing you're talking about where I'm like, wow, I have to write, like, basically the equivalent of, like, the Bible in here,
Yes.
or it won't be worth it."
Yeah. Invest in a good, like, pen or pencil, I would say. If you wanna spend money and be, like, actually effective as a writer, that's where I would go. Just make it so the actual act of writing is, kind of nice. Fun. Oh, no, it's not right there. Never mind. I was gonna show, like, a nice pen I had that a
Oh,
friend gave
I
me, but it
love
wasn't right
text
there.
text me a picture because I love pens.
Oh, yeah. This one writes beautifully.
Hell yeah. Okay, Matt, my last question does not come from me. I have a
Ooh.
segment called Artist Ask Artist. And
Boy.
so previous guest has a question for you, and then you can ask a question for my next guest. So the last people that I had on were the boys of the band Max Saturn, which is one of my favorite
Okay.
bands. And they said, first of all, congratulations. And
Aw.
they have they actually have 2 questions for you. They said, "What was harder to write, the first page or the last page?"
Ooh. Well, first off, thank you. Thank you, boys. Oh, that's such a good one. I think the last pages, I'll say, are harder. Knowing where to start is difficult, but I think finding what is the place where, like, the story is over, everything
Okay.
feels like it's kind of wrapped up
Sure.
in a bow and all that. Um, I think that is difficult.
Okay, that makes sense. And then their second question, because they couldn't decide, was, what was the aha moment when you knew what this book was going to be?
Ooh, I think for me, it was really early on in planning. Over, like, last year and, early into this year, I had a lot of wonderful experiences that really kind of pushed me into, like, do it. Just, like, jump off the edge, go for it, dive back into prose, which I'd been doing for a while, and really try and make this going. I think for me, it was when I realized that I had these, shorts that I had already done, and they all kind of had a very subtle sort of, seasonal theme to them. So it was when I was able to look back at them and be like, oh, these aren't completely disconnected. There is actually a through line here. There is actually something going all together. It was when I think I was like, oh, wait, maybe there is something here. And that's kind of when it blossomed.
Okay. And now you can ask anything under the sun for my next guest, but I don't know who it is yet.
Okay. Um, I am always looking for good recommendations for things. So I am going to ask, what is the one piece of media every you think every artist should consume?
Okay, that's a great question.
It can be open-ended. What's the album they need to listen to? What's the book they need to read? What's the movie they need to watch,
Okay.
So
That's a great question. Okay, and then last but not least, before my laptop battery dies, because I forgot to plug it in, uh, shameless self promo. Where can people connect with you, and where can people find your book when it's out?
Yes, so please follow me, on social media, Instagram, and pinkneywriter.com, or not .com, it's an Instagram. Instagram.com/pinkneywriter. Whoo, I'm gone. You can check out my blog, matthewpinkneywriter.wordpress.com. I'm sure Kayla will be lovely and put all those links for
Yes,
you.
I will.
And then, yes, at a current time of recording, American Romantic is not out, but it will be by the time this comes out. You can find links to buy it on there. I am sure it will be wherever fine literature is sold online.
Incredible. Well, thanks for joining, Matt. It's been so fun having a buddy on the podcast again.
Yes,
And we'll have
it's
to do
so
another
great.
catch up soon
Yes, 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 absolutely. So wonderful talking with you. Thank you
where
so much for
we can
having me.
be unhinged, not in front of an audience.
Yes.
That's all for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you did enjoy today's episode, please share it with a friend. I am going to be linking all of Matt's socials and American Romantic in the description below. Please make sure that you go show Matt some love and check out American Romantic. Let me know what you think in the comments. I got to read it in advance, and I really hope that you love it just as much as I did. Once again, make sure that you're following the Morning Brew podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Instagram, and YouTube so that you don't miss any episodes or any updates. And make sure to tune in next time because I'm going to be sitting down with intimacy coordinator Jamie Monahan.